Hello and thank you for joining me. Today's video is just some tips and some tricks and a few demos thrown in on various items of survival. Stay with me. First one is the ferro rod or the Swedish fire steel. As you can see in the photo, this is the state of my main Swedish fire steel. It's kept in the leather sleeve on my knife sheath, and what I believe has happened is where it's been used, sometimes it's damp, the leather on the sheath perhaps holds the dampness and it's caused it to corrode. So it's covered in a fine grey dust. And the way I've got round this is I've used some hard as nails, which is a nail varnish. It's just a polish for your nail varnish. And I've given it a coat of that, and that obviously keeps the moisture out and prevents it corroding any further. So that's it now, coated with the nail varnish. Obviously it's a little bit like when you get a new one. Now when I want to use that, I've got to go through the process of scraping that protective cover off before it will start producing the sparks. But it's worth doing if you don't particularly look after them. In saying that, the reason I think it did corrode, as I said, is because it was in the leather sleeve and perhaps that held moisture in, because my other fire steels have not had the same problem. But it's worth doing. Next one is the subject of hooks, especially when you're keeping them in your personal survival kit. I know in the UK that's something that isn't always considered because we don't always think that we're going to need to go fishing. But hooks in a survival kit. I am a firm advocate to put in pre-tied hooks in a survival kit. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't fish, don't know the knots, and if it's a stressful situation, they're going to have a nightmare. Nothing worse than putting a hook on, thinking you've done it good, yeah, hooking a fish, and the hook comes off. It happens. Pre-tied hooks, especially in the UK, have come, they're just fantastic now. I match fish, just at club level, and that's all I use, pre-tied hooks, because the machines that tie them better than me. For the UK, I would suggest a size 14, or perhaps slightly bigger, a size 12, and in a survival situation, barbed hooks. Normal fishery rules in the UK are barbless, but for a survival situation, barbed hooks, because there is less chance of the fish spitting the hook and coming off. So consider, by all means, stick some loose hooks in your survival kit, but you really should consider putting some pre-tied hooks to nylon in there. Something to, I don't know, say a 4 or a 5 pound test. Yeah, just 12 inches they usually come out, and they're not mega bucks. It's going to cost you £3 for 10, yeah, pre-tied. Whilst talking about hooks and also needles, I know there's a bit of a craze, or there has been, of people gaffer taping them to the inside lid of their survival tin. Hooks, not so much of a problem. Needles, I've found to be a big problem, because I done that, had it secured, bit of gaffer tape in the lid. Then I needed it to actually effect a repair with cotton, yeah, to do a bit of sewing. And what I found had happened is that the sticky residue from the duct tape, and it was Gorilla Tape, the sticky residue had coated the needle, which meant that the cotton kept sticking to the needle and kept snapping. So I would strongly suggest that you do not do that practice if it's something that you've been doing. If you have to, put the needle that's pre-threaded, because again, yeah, if it's a stressful situation or your eyesight's not particularly good or it's low light, etc., it can be difficult to thread the needle. So always pre-thread your needles. Perhaps stick it in a little Ziploc bag and then gaffer tape it to your lid. That way the needle isn't coming in contact with the residue. Don't just put a sailcloth needle in there, a big needle with a big eye. Yes, that's what you want, you can get splinters out, etc. Repairing your kit and doing some heavy duty sewing. But if you've just popped a button off your shirt, the sailcloth needle, the diameter of which is too big to go through your shirt button. So consider having a smaller regular size needle in there as well. Again, pre-threaded and taped up, whatever you want to do. Candles. If you carry a candle in your survival kit, which is a great flame extender, and obviously in the colder weather you can use it to raise the temperature of your basher by a few degrees. Pre-light them, then blow it out. So you've got a charred wick. That works the same as charred cloth or charred material. It will take a spark much more easier if it's already been lit and then blown out than if you just leave it as shop bought. And in a survival situation, you really might be down to trying to light a candle with your fire steel. And it's going to be difficult, but it is much more difficult to light the candle wick if it's never been lit before. So always light them, then blow them out. Don't believe me? Get off your bum and try it. Right, next, tactical lighting. So we'll cut here and go into a brief video showing you what I mean. Tactical light discipline. Need to check your map. Put your thumb over the lens of your light. Creates a softer light, slightly red. You can see, no one can see you. Right, the Wazoo water bag. I'd heard great things about it. I'd had a couple of comments mentioning them on my survival kit videos. So I invested. So I got some. There. They are the 1 litre bag. Very slightly disappointed. I understand the principle, collect the water, seal the top, lay it on embers, whatever, to disinfect your water. But what upset me a little bit is there is no markings on the bag to tell you where the litre or 1 litre is. Now, if you're obviously collecting water and dumping it on the embers, it doesn't matter. But I might be using Puritabs, water purification tablets, 1 tablet per 1 litre of water, leave for half an hour, good to go. Now, so you need to be able to judge that 1 litre. If you've got more than 1 litre, then the tablet will be diluted and may not necessarily sterilise it. And if you've got under 1 litre, that 1 tablet might then give you a slight overdose of chlorine. I'm not a doctor, I don't know what effect that will have. But either way, it's not ideal. If the tablet says 1 litre of water, then that's what you should be aiming for. So what I've done is I just took a bag, got a jug, put 1 litre of water in it, poured it in the bag whilst holding it, and then got a Sharpie and marked the line where 1 litre is. I then decanted the water, laid the bag flat and measured it. So if you use the Wazoo bag and you consider that you may use it with Puritabs, then you need to put a line from the bottom, measure up 9 inches or 23 centimetres if you're metric, and put a line across it, which is what I've done. It's there, and now I know that if I'm going to be using Puritabs, I dump the water in the bag up to that level and it's 1 litre. So Wazoo, that if you're ever going to see this video, but do consider you've already put your manufacturing information there. Put a fill line for 1 litre there. Make life a bit easier for people. Right, the next thing is really for get home bags. I'm a big advocate of the get home bag, and you don't need loads and loads of kit in a get home bag really. You need to stay hydrated. That is one of the main things. If you're going to be shank's pony, you're going to be walking over a considerable large distance, especially if you're not used to walking or carrying a weight, then you've got to be hydrated. Now, I looked to UK sites where they do long distance hiking, where they're covering, over 100 miles in a matter of days. and looked for tips from them, because at the end of the day, they're doing it perhaps every weekend. Yeah, so they have the experience. And basically what it is if you've got the opportunity, you know, poops hit the fan, you've got to use your get home bag, yeah, you're leaving your vehicle or whatever, first thing to do, hydrate, yeah, half a litre, 500 millilitres of water, drink it, don't gulp it because you'll be peeing it out 10 minutes later, drink that, that's just topped you up and you're ready to go, yeah. Then after approximately an hour of walking, especially if you're not used to it, you're going to be sweating like a pig and you're going to be losing essential salts, etc. Now everyone knows you should have some Diarrhea solutions, yes, sachets in your kits, but a good tip that they come up with is a Lucozade Sport. The idea being that that's full of sugars and salts and vitamins, etc. to rehydrate you. It's what athletes use. It tastes good, it's not fizzy, it's flat. That's the orange flavour, they do various flavours. That bottle's 500 millilitres, yes, it's half a litre. And what you're supposed to do, so you've dumped your 500 millilitres of water to get hydrated, you're hoofing it, then after approximately an hour, so not straight away, of walking, stop drinking water, drink that. And that will put, as I say, the vitamins, minerals and all the rest of it that you need to stay hydrated back into your body, and thereafter you can carry on consuming normal water. Plus you've got the capability, once you've drunk it, to carry, if you come across a water source, an additional 500 ml of water. So it's worth considering. They're not expensive, shelf life's over 12 months. So yeah, if you think about it, it can be sitting on the shelf in a supermarket for that amount of time. Stick it in your bag. Yeah, it's worth having, in my opinion. Right, another thing that's come up is I've mentioned a buzzsaw in a number of my videos, which is basically a chem light, and it's attached to approximately 4 foot cordage, and it is used for signalling in very low light or darkness. Yeah, you activate the chem light, attach 4 foot of cord to it, and swing it in a circle. I've had some people ask me about that, so I waited. It wasn't complete darkness, it was getting that way, and I waddled up the end of the garden in my shorts and gave a demonstration, and that's something that you're probably watching right now. It is a very, very effective means of signalling. And another thing that I've been asked about is Tinder card. It is my go-to Tinder for 9 out of 10 applications. It's wax impregnated card. It's about £4 for 6 sheets. That will last for ages. You break a bit off, fluff it up and hit it with a ferro rod a few times, and God willing, you get a flame. And as you can see, this is how I use it. Anyway, that's it. Just hopefully there's some tips that you might find useful. As always, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and have a safe and great weekend. Thanks for watching.